is sending shockwaves through allies and adversaries alike. Vishal Vivek for NDTV World.
Now we keep our focus on the US, viewers, where social media is buzzing, to say the least, after the dramatic capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and the mocking response by US President Donald Trump, which has in fact triggered a meme storm online. A meme fest, as some might refer to it as well. Now, from dance-offs all the way to superhero spoofs, believe you me, the clips blur satire with spectacle, often drawing millions of views and plenty of laughs. Here's a look at the viral mockery that's taking over the internet by storm. Bravado on the battlefield, followed by mockery that goes viral. The US military, in its most ambitious operation, abducted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. And in his own typical style, Trump goes on to mock him. Trump taunts Maduro for copying his dance moves. The internet does the rest.
They've been after this guy for years and years and years. And, he's a violent guy. He gets up there and he tries to imitate my dance a little bit. But he's a violent guy, and he's killed millions of people. He's tortured. They have a torture chamber in the middle of Caracas that they're closing up.
Not only has the dance comment gone viral, it sparked a hilarious meme fest. Trump is Batman swooping in to abduct Maduro. A captured Maduro dancing alongside Trump in the Oval Office. Another clip, US forces storm in as Maduro sleeps. Then a lonely Maduro gluing behind bars. And the punchline, Trump dancing over barrels of Venezuelan oil. And finally, Trump as Maduro, a mustache, Venezuelan flags, a mock presidential speech. Politics, parody, and a touch of artificial intelligence. Global mockery of Venezuela's fallen leader. Bureau Report, NDTV. Well, now we take you across the English Channel straight to Paris, viewers, where the leaders of around 35 countries met to discuss security guarantees for Ukraine and the coalition of the willing. Ukraine's allies agreed to provide Kiev with multi-layered security guarantees aimed at ending the conflict with Russia and soonest. French President Emmanuel Macron, meanwhile, has said that several thousand French soldiers could very well be deployed to Ukraine as a measure to ensure peace. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said that ultimate peace requires Russian compromise. Meanwhile, Canada has promised a substantial ongoing commitment to the force that would, in fact, backstop the peace deal. Meanwhile, listen in to Zelensky and UK PM Keir Starmer.
Дуже предметно ми говорили сьогодні з американською командою щодо моніторингу, щоб не було порушень миру. Америка готова працювати щодо цього. Це для нас дуже важливо. Один з найбільш важливих компонентів – це стримування. Це інструменти, які не допустять нової російської агресії, і все це ми бачимо.
But we can only get to a peace deal if Putin is ready to make compromises. And so we have to be frank. For all Russia's words, Putin is not showing that he's ready for peace. Over the last few weeks, we've seen the opposite. Further horrific strikes on Ukraine, killing and wounding civilians.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has described his brutal invasion of neighboring Ukraine as a holy mission to defend Russia in a bizarre address marking Orthodox Christmas. That's correct, viewers. Now, the Russian president called his soldiers warriors who were acting as if at the Lord's behest in a speech that combined militaristic bombast with calls of unity and charity as well. Now, Russia's war against Ukraine has upended the post-World War II peace in Europe and has also led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people and soldiers as well, with still no clear end or even a pathway to point in sight, despite a concerted push for a ceasefire led by US President Donald Trump. Stay with Russia, which has said on Tuesday that its forces shot down hundreds of Ukrainian drones. Viewers. Meanwhile, Ukraine on the same day reported carrying out attacks on Russian targets, including a military arsenal. Now, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, Russia's forces struck storage facilities for long-range drones, and they also hit temporary deployment points for Ukrainian armed formations. Ukraine, on the other hand, said that 191 combat engagements had taken place all along the front lines. US President Donald Trump has said Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not that happy with him. Speaking at the House GOP members' retreat, Trump underlined and stated vehemently that the tension is over high US tariffs on India, now totaling a whopping 50%. Not only this, he says those tariffs are linked to India's purchases of Russian oil. At the same time, Trump also stressed that he still has a very good relationship with Modi. He pointed out ongoing cooperation, including US defense sales to India, such as the Apache helicopter deal. Trump said India has begun cutting back on Russian oil imports, but has warned tariffs could rise if US concerns are not met. New Delhi, on its side, has denied making any commitments whatsoever to Washington, and for now, trade pressures remain even as defense ties continue. Meanwhile, here's Trump for you.
India ordered 68 Apaches, and Prime Minister Modi came to see me. Sir, may I see you, please? Yes, I have a very good relationship with him. He's not that happy with me because, you know, they're paying a lot of tariffs now because they're not doing the oil, but they are. They've now reduced it very substantially, as you know, from Russia. We're getting rich because of tariffs, by the way. I hope everyone understands that. They hate to report. We're going to have over $650 billion poured into our country or coming in shortly because of tariffs. You know.
We now shift our gaze to Asia, where Japan has criticized China's decision to ban exports of dual-use goods that can serve both civilian and military purposes to Tokyo. The Chinese Commerce Ministry said in a statement that exports of such items would help enhance Japanese military power are prohibited. Relations between Japan and China worsened late last year. This after Japan's PM Sanae Takaichi said its military could get involved if China were to take action against Taiwan. Meanwhile, we get your reaction.
我が国のみをターゲットにした今般の措置というものは国際的な慣行と大きく異なり、決して許容できず、極めて遺憾であります。
Staying with the region, Beijing has banned two Taiwanese ministers from entering China for alleged separatist activities related to Taiwan independence. The decision prompted angry response from Taipei, which has said it would not bow down to threats and intimidation from Beijing. Now, the office described Taiwanese Interior Minister and Education Minister as die-hard Taiwan independence secessionists. These ministers and their relatives are banned from entry. The ban also extends to Hong Kong and Macau. Over in the Middle East, viewers, renewed clashes broke out Tuesday between Syrian government forces and Kurdish fighters in a contested area of the northern city of Aleppo. Syrian media said a soldier was killed and 3 others were wounded in an attack by the Kurdish-led and US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces. State TV later, however, reported that 3 civilians, including 2 women, were killed and others were wounded as well. This included 2 children, by the way. The SDF, in a statement, has denied being behind the shelling that killed these civilians. We take you back to Washington now, where during a recent address to Republicans, viewers, Donald Trump candidly discussed various topics, including his wife's disapproval of his imitations of trans athletes in women's sports. He humorously shared that Melania finds his dance imitations unpresidential, asserting that he has become president despite her concerns. Now, Trump, who went candid on a number of issues during his address to Republicans on Tuesday, also joked about how his wife and First Lady Melania hates whenever he imitates trans athletes in women's sports. Here's Donald Trump for you imitating those trans athletes.
And she gets up and they put a little tiny thing like this, little tiny. And my wife, by the way, my wife hates when I do this. She said, you know, she's a very classy person, right? She said, it's so unpresidential. I said, but I did become president. You know, she hates when I dance. I said, everybody wants me to dance. Darling, it's not presidential. She actually said, could you imagine FDR dancing? She said that to me. And I said, there's a long history that perhaps she doesn't know. Because he was an elegant fellow, even as a Democrat, right? He was the attack by Japan, you know, he was quite elegant. But he wouldn't be doing this. But nor would too many others. But she says, darling, please, the weightlifting is terrible. And I have to say this, the dancing they really like. She said, they don't like it, they're just being nice to you. I said, that's not right. The place goes crazy. They're screaming, dance, please. But the weightlifting, but no, the girl gets up. And you see, I want to be more, but I have somebody watching. I want to be more effusive. I want to really, yeah. But she gets it, and drops the thing, walks off the stage crying. Her mother's crying, her father's crying. Guy gets up. He said, have you lifted before? A little bit. And he walks up. Bing. He could have gone ding, 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 ding. I think it was 112 pounds, right? It's crazy.
Pope Leo XIV on Tuesday closed out the Vatican's 2025 Holy Years, capping a year-long celebration of Christianity that saw some 33 million pilgrims, or faithfuls as they are called, viewers. Now with cardinals and diplomats looking on, Leo kneeled down in prayer on the stone floor at the very threshold of the holy door of St. Peter's Basilica. He then stood up and pulled out the two doors shut, symbolically closing out the rarest of jubilees, as one was opened by a feeble Pope Francis in 2024. Only once before, by the way, in 1700, has a holy year been opened by one Pope and closed by another. Over in Asia, Malaysia's former Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad was admitted to hospital on Tuesday. According to his aide, Mahathir suffered a fall in the morning and required medical attention and observation at the National Heart Institute in Kuala Lumpur. The 100-year-old former leader has been in and out of hospital and has had a history of heart ailments. He is one of the world's oldest living former heads of state, for perspective. Moving eastwards, China's ice and snow tourism is entering a new stage of sustained prosperity. Now, a record high 14,075 related enterprises operated in the sector by the end of 2025. Now, reports attributed the scale to a surge in innovation tourism products, including ice sculpting, ice and snow photography, and also themed experiences across China. The country is positioning the ice and snow economy as a key driver of development and consumption alike. The scale, by the way, is expected to reach a whopping 1.2 trillion yuan only by 2027. That's not too far next year. Thousands of Orthodox Christians in white traditional attire celebrated Christmas Eve with a mass, prayers and hymns during a candlelight ceremony in Ethiopia's capital. The public spectacle on Tuesday evening was followed by all-night church service, marking the end of a 43-day fasting season. Ethiopian Orthodox Church Christians follow the Julian calendar, which in fact runs 13 days later than the Gregorian calendar. Now, they traditionally celebrate Christmas by slaughtering animals and joining family members to break the fast after midnight. Here's more.
The concept of Christianity is based on Jesus Christ, which is the one who preached us the happiness, the desire of peace, and equality for all human beings. So we have to follow that if we want to have a peace in the whole worldwide, so that we have to follow the preacher of Jesus Christ.
Roman Catholics dressed in colorful costumes and danced to the sounds of drums paraded through the streets of Rio de Janeiro as part of celebrations marking the Three Kings Day. Members of the Bright Star Bethlehem group viewers took part in the vibrant procession containing traditional Catholic symbols, also mixed with symbols from Afro-Brazilian culture. Now, Three Kings Day is also known as the Feast Day of Epiphany, is observed each day on the 6th of January and recalls the visit of the Three Kings to baby Jesus.
Que é uma folia de Reis Mirim, porque através da criança que vem a renovação, né? E através da folia a gente também consegue usar um poder chamado educacional. Então, mostrar para eles que existem outros caminhos, né? Do bem, que não o caminho do tráfico, não o caminho da droga. E a folia é cultura, e além deles estarem iniciados no saber histórico e cultural da folia, eles também possam estar iniciados na sua vida. Tanto homens e mulheres estão fazendo com que a folia faça com que eles sejam homens e mulheres do bem.
Well, with that, it's time we step into a short break. Viewers, news continues on the other side. Don't you go anywhere.
Oh no! What's happened?
It's the car. Total nightmare. Completely packed up.
What are you going to do?
It's okay. I've got Drafty.
Drafty gives you a pot of cash up to £3,000 and borrowing £100 for 30 days costs just under £6. Just go online and apply now and the money will be sent to your bank in 90 seconds.
It's easy. Just visit drafty.co.uk.
Let me tell you more about Drafty, a different way to borrow. If life throws you unexpected bills, if your washing machine just threw in the towel, literally, or if your car has lost its drive, visit drafty.co.uk and apply today.
There are no application fees and no early repayment fees. Simple. If you're a UK resident with a UK bank account and over 18 and earn over £1,250 per month, then you can apply online and Drafty will give you an almost instant decision.
Can you tell us about your experience, Anton?
Yeah, I first used Drafty when my car broke down and I didn't know what to do. Then I found Drafty. I borrowed what I needed to get myself back on the road. There were no hidden fees and how much it would cost was really clear. I also love that I have that pot of cash there if I ever need it again.
With Drafty, you can access up to £3,000 almost instantly. Try Drafty. It's a breeze to use. And borrowing £100 for 30 days costs just under £6. Visit drafty.co.uk to apply online today. Drafty give you a personal credit limit so you can make withdrawals when it suits you, and they help you stay in control with repayment reminders and updates on your credit limit. You can access money online and you'll have the money on the way to your bank in 90 seconds.
How did you get on, Greg?
Well, what a day. The washing machine breaking was the last thing I needed. But honestly, knowing that Drafty's there for me to use when I want to, that's the freedom. The money was sent to my bank within minutes.
If you want to get on with life, try Drafty. With Drafty, you can borrow up to your personal credit limit almost instantly. And borrowing £100 for 30 days costs just under £6. Visit drafty.co.uk to apply online today. Drafty have helped over 100,000 people access cash exactly when they needed a bit of flexibility. But don't take our word for it. Their reviews speak for themselves. Drafty, it's a breeze to use. If approved, Drafty will give you access to a flexible pot of cash up to £3,000.
How did Drafty help you, Danny?
I just didn't realise the cost of moving house. It was stressful enough without money worries as well. I used Drafty and they were great. The money was sent to my bank within minutes, and it's reassuring to know they're there if I need them again.
At Drafty, they know life has its ups and downs. If you don't borrow, you don't pay anything. It doesn't get any easier than that.
Drafty, it's a breeze to use. Access up to £3,000 today with drafty.co.uk.
Welcome back, viewers. Lenovo Group's Motorola unveiled its fast-folding phone that also opens like a book or a passport, if you may. Now, this move marks a departure from the string of clamshell-style foldables that the brand has released over the past several years together now. Now, the device is called the Razr Fold, though its iteration doesn't bear any resemblance to Motorola's once iconic handset. Lenovo showed off the device during a flashy keynote at the Consumer Electronics Show. alongside a range of new products as well. Now, with this announcement, Motorola is making a late entrance into a relatively established segment. In the world of sports, Neymar has agreed to extend his contract with Santos until the end of 2026. Now, this comes as he maintains hopes of a World Cup call-up despite recent injuries. The 33-year-old forward returned to Santos in January last year and played a key role by scoring 5 times in their last 5 matches. Neymar, who's long in fact struggled with injuries, underwent successful arthroscopic surgery on his right knee last month. Brazil's all-time top scorer with 79 goals has not featured for the 5-time World Cup winners since 2023. In the world of entertainment, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are now divorced and legally single. That's true. A national judge on Tuesday has issued an order dissolving the 19-year-long marriage of Oscar-winning actor and the Grammy-winning country singer. The judge said that the couple's settlements on splitting assets and child custody are sufficient and granted them divorce. Kidman filed for divorce in September last year. Now, all the legal issues involving assets and custody had already been settled and signed the day after her filing. After just 2.5 weeks of release, the Sydney Sweeney box office hit The Housemaid is getting a sequel. No surprises there if you ask me. Lionsgate announced Tuesday that it will start production on The Housemaid's Secret later this year. Now, the film will be based on the second of a Frida McFadden's best-selling trilogy of books. The Housemaid has been a hit at the holiday box office, grossing more than $75 million domestically and a whopping $133 million worldwide. And well, that's all the reports we have for you this Wednesday afternoon. Take care and have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.
We should have left centuries ago.
It's okay. I'm with the AA.
Because the AA has more expert patrols in more places than anyone else, you'll be back on the road in no time. That's why millions of drivers choose the AA. Join today.
Landlords renting out a home, including the rent guarantee add-on to your residential landlord insurance, means we'll pay if your tenant doesn't until they move out. So you can sleep easy. Search Direct Line Landlord Insurance today. Direct Line. That's how it's done.
You probably think we spend our days watching the world go by.
You're absolutely right.